Alright, well, welcome back to our playthrough of the Vagrant. Quick recap from last time. We fought yet another boss, because that's apparently what this game has just evolved into. And after that, we had to go... We finally got the bracelet that we were looking for. And I had to go back. I kind of cut the video short, because I had to get all the way back from like the top corner of the map to the very bottom. And it was not until off-camera, or off record... that I figured out that, or I remembered that there were areas that you could use to teleport from place to place, and I just teleported to exactly where I needed to be. So, you live and you learn, I guess. Or really more so, it's I learned not to overthink things. Which, I guess, in games like this is important, because, like, The Vagrant is a relatively simple game, so just kind of, overthinking the whole thing is definitely very possible. But oh, another campsite. Let's see, we've got a long trek ahead of us. Let's get some rest. Fine. Come on, Vivian, think. What is Halburn after? What is she planning to do? Camden is still here. Did she send him to subverse me? Or supervise, sorry. Need to learn to read too. She seems to be looking for someone to act as a key and get her into some place. Maybe that's why she wants me and Rune Warden alive? Hey, I can't fall into her trap. But what's the worst thing this little brat could do to me? Hey, why are you ignoring me? What? Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. You better not be plotting anything over there. You are. It won't do you any good. Got an eye on you. Please, me conspiring? Got me in a corner. There's no conspiring here. Good. Let's keep it that way, you fugitive. Ah, rude. So I'm a fugitive now. Tell me, Camden, what crime did I commit? You're a Rune Warden. That's a crime. And what about you and Halburn? About the Academy, the crimes of the powerful cannot go unseen. Rune Wardens are murderers. They're terrorists. Self-defense is neither murder or terrorism. Rune Wardens are hunted down because we refuse to share our ability with the Academy. What we do to survive. But you killed people who tried to kill me. I'm not allowed to survive? Am I not allowed to exist? A good point. But I was once caught by one of your precious Academy. They gave me a gift. This mark. They thought of me no more than they do of an animal. Liar, you're a liar. You've seen how Halburn treats me. Hell, you've been commanded to do the same. Do your own thinking. Make your own judgments. I know who I am, and I know where I stand. Camden doesn't seem to know anything about the true Academy. There is still time for him to break free of their grasp. But if things get rough here, I may have no choice but to... You said, let's move. Oh, sure. But, so as I started to say, yeah, so we had to go from the top of the map all the way to the bottom, and I had forgotten that you could just simply teleport places. So, you live and you learn. But another topic that I've been... I guess thinking of lately is the whole thing about how a lot of games now, or it's, I guess, the whole like loot box debate or controversy, whatever you want to call it. Because very recently, it was the country of Belgium, I believe, declared that the loot boxes in specifically in the games Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm were declared as gambling, right? So they said that that Blizzard could no longer sell loot boxes. That they, the only way to have loot boxes meant that you had to acquire them through just playing the game, right? That was the only acceptable way to get them. That paying for them, it was just gambling, and we couldn't have that, right? And, I understand what they mean by that. Oftentimes if you purchased loot boxes, it felt like gambling, because there was one thing you were kind of looking for, and then, you know, the random nature of them, you just didn't get it. So it's an interesting topic, I think, and it is one where, you know, yes, you know, I feel like in the purest sense, when you're talking about gambling and that kind of thing, and like, you know, if you're talking about what the customer is getting when it comes to that, yeah, you know, it is just, you know, kind of random. And I think the only real issue with it is the fact that you can purchase them for, you know, real world currencies, right? That if it was just something you got in the game, it wouldn't be so bad. You'd be like, oh, okay, I randomly get it. Or if there were a way of unlocking the skins that you wanted, that, you know, because even the way it is now, some of the unlocks, some of the sprays are locked behind achievements, right? So you have to complete certain tasks, or, you know, have a certain level of, I guess, skill with some of the heroes in Overwatch to get some of the sprays, right? The sprays, they're unique to the whatchamacallit, to the challenge, or achievement, or whatever you want to call it. So oh, we can go that way, that's cool. So, and those are okay, right? You know, I think light on fire? That's pretty crazy. So yeah, I think that the heck did I get in there? Oh no. Damage item in the chest though, that's weird. Yeah, so you know, I think playing, you know, unlocking things via achievement, you know, via player skill, where there's a certain task to be completed, and a more skilled player will have an easier time unlocking it, I think that's acceptable. You know, I don't think there's anything sort of disingenuous about having player skill be a gateway to unlocking items in a game. That's, I think, perfectly acceptable. Technically, even this game, the Vagrant, has content that's locked behind player skill, right? If I just was absolutely god-awful at this game and just could never pass the first level, technically the rest of the game is locked to me, right? So, and then that would be like somebody coming along and saying, well, hey, do you want to just skip right to level 2? Well, here you go. We'll just, you can just pay a fee and you'll just instantly warp to the second level. And that's something that you can definitely, that would be the equivalent to like loot boxes or DLC, basically, right? Or if you locked the game, or if you locked the game behind some sort of like skill cap or a skill-based challenge to get to the second level. Technically, any game with a level design or whatever is DLC that's just locked behind player skill. You know, the achievement is you got to level 2, right? So that's, like I said, so that's any kind of game you could make that argument for that kind of like player skill requirement. But as for the whole loot box thing, those are items that you purchase with real world money that have things you unlock in the game. And a lot of people argue that, well, how is that fair? I've, you know, already purchased this game, therefore I should be able to easily access everything this game has to offer, right? Because I've paid for it. And I do understand where people are coming from when they talk about that. You know, there's a lot of game journalists and whatnot do criticize the trend of DLC in games these days, just for the sole purpose that, you know, sometimes people feel that the games they play are are incomplete, right? That, you know, you know, the game doesn't feel complete, but it's just because they want us to download the DLC, right? And, you know, I understand where that sentiment comes from. It definitely does feel like that for some games, right? Not all games. Some games, the DLC is legitimately just extra content. You know, because remember when, you know, back when games didn't have any digital content, there were expansions, and that was basically the DLC of that era. Was, you know, expansion content, right? But the difference with expansion content is you are often getting like a completely new experience that that was different from the main game, so that you kind of felt like you were getting something new, right? Oh wow, that's a lot of treasure chests. A golden key. All right, cool. Not that I know what that key goes to, but we'll figure it out, right? Okay, a lot of stuff. We could definitely get some more abilities with that. So we got what, 1,500? I get a lot more. That, of course, it's 2,000. Not 2,000, of course. 1,000. 1,200. Oh, okay. Not bad. Oh, more damage than Rageful? Yeah, we have Rageful a lot, so we'll go for that. So yeah, games unlocking content. Perfect. And so yeah, I understand people's sentiment when they talk about DLC today, and how it feels like you're not getting a complete game. I can definitely understand how people feel that way. You know, I've definitely been in that boat, in, you know, feeling like game's kind of incomplete, you know, not much of not much content, and or especially with games these days where especially, what in the hell, especially take a game like the controversial No Man's Sky. That game was completely different than what was advertised, and there was a monumental patch in that game, you know, in order to basically fix it and make it, you know, the product that was advertised, right? So the whole loot box thing, I get it. I understand why people are upset with loot boxes, or why they feel like, oh, it's gambling. You're not getting, you know, you're not getting something that you technically paid for, right? And now, granted, in certain games, like, take the game Overwatch. I mean, there is an element of progression in games that, you know, other than just player skill improvement. You know, you want to unlock stuff. You want to feel accomplished, right? Like you got something for your troubles. And so yeah, naturally, you know, I can understand why you'd want to have things that. There we go. Why you'd want to have things that, you know, what the heck, ways of rewarding the player for playing and stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I do understand the sentiment that boxes are a form of gambling, especially for games that have online marketplaces like Counter-Strike. Global Offensive has a legitimate market where you can buy and sell skins and items and stuff like that, and that's actually, you know, there's actual monetary value to those things. So those definitely, I mean, those loot boxes and that stuff is pretty much guaranteed gambling. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a type of gambling for that. And then there's always the debate people want to talk about. Ooh, we're getting closer. Time for another rest. Yeah, you're studying healing magic science. I want to become a white wizard, but I don't know if I'm really capable of helping others. You can. Anyone can. It's normal to have your doubts. You're still young. But I don't like being treated like I am. It won't be much longer. You'll grow. You'll prove to others that you have. You'll prove it to them by showing that you got your own thoughts and your own beliefs. I do have my own thoughts. Hey, you're in no place to be criticizing me. Huh, of course. You should be going. Adam, how is everything? Is the Rune Warden giving you trouble? No, things are well. We're almost to our destination. You seem distressed. Is something bothering you? Madam, why can't we let the Rune... Don't concern yourself with that. Focus on your task and don't let yourself get distracted. But Rune Wardens are the most dangerous of criminals, and should be punished without a second thought. Their very existence threatens our lives. But we I promise to her. Camden, you're my apprentice. Do not forget that. Do not question me. Forgive me, I just... Just what? Just don't trust my decisions? No, no, I trust you. Good. When matters are settled, you will see that I am in the right. We will return to the academy. Follow my orders. I am certain you will become a wizard very soon. Thank you. You will be my assistant, and we will work together in my tower. Our research and achievements will be shatter the ignorance of the High Council. I will do my best. You are my most cherished pupil, Camden. I look forward to our reunion. Thank you. We will speak soon. Interesting. Very, very untrusting, I'd say. Alright, so it looks like... But we want to go down, a target location. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different places we can explore, but I think they're... Oh, can we talk to this person? Oh, they have potions and... Oh, is this someone I can talk to? Oh, no, they just say stuff. Okay. No. Alright. This is a dump. Okay. Don't mind me, just breaking pots in here. Oh, but so as I was saying, loot boxes. Oh, cool. I can like practice combos. That's fun. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand how people think that they're, or how people talk about them being a form of gambling, and that they're not good for players and stuff like that. I definitely understand that. I think that the difference is that there does need to be some kind of balance of things you unlock in a game, and you should be able to unlock them because you purchased the game, right? And I think that having like DLC and stuff like that is not wrong. Oh, whoops, that was the wrong button to press. I guess, so I don't think it's wrong. I just think that it needs to be careful, and you need to treat your players with respect, and basically respect their dollar that they're spending on your game. And even though your game is a subscription-based thing, like a World of Warcraft, you know, you have to kind of be gracious for it when you're asking for money from people. But I don't know. I think it's a much larger debate. Maybe I'll do another video on it where we go more in depth with the whole concept. But either way, that's gonna be it for this episode. It was a little lower key of a Vagrant playthrough. No bosses and anything crazy going on, but some new areas. Like I guess like a tundra or mountainous area was kind of cool. Anyway, I hope you keep enjoying the content. If you like the discussion, definitely comment below and all that sort of stuff about what you know, maybe what do you think about loot boxes? What do you think about loot boxes? If they're just purely cosmetics, or if they're, you know, actual things you can use to play within the game, like a Battlefront or a CSGO. Anyway, hope you keep enjoying it. Again, comment, subscribe, that nonsense. I will see you all next time.